Okay, so there we are. And hello. Welcome back again. Don't worry, that text is gonna go away. Alrighty then. Here we are. We're all set to go. So, good afternoon. My name is Shirley Crawford. I'm the Executive Director here at the Women's Business Center, RVA. And during this pandemic, and while things are going on, I firmly believe that everyone should walk away with this time with skill sets, information, resources. And so we want to make sure that we're providing some of those for you. And the way that we're doing that is that every Thursday at 1 o'clock, we're coming to you live with another resource, tool, information. If you've seen over the past weeks, last week we were graced and honored to have Christina Fuller Staffing, who did a session on your HR responses during COVID-19. Prior to that, we've talked about professional presence in social media, how to network. And I'm missing one, but hey, you can go back and check them all out. We try to make sure that we upload them after we're done to our YouTube channel. And so we're giving these seminars for free at present, just to be able to provide you all with the tools that you're going to need to not only survive this time, but thrive during this time. Okay, so I'm getting all kinds of notifications on my watch. Okay, so today we're going to talk about the whys and the hows of business plan. So, interestingly enough, how we come up with what topics we decide to share with you is really based on you. So, if you're saying, "Hey, I'm really curious about this. I'd like to know this information," then we're going, "Alrighty, then we'll bring that information to you." So, if you have a particular question, topic of interest, concern, especially business related, then let us know. You can email me at shirley@wbcrva.com or drop a message down into the comments and we'll try to bring that to you. So, are we ready? So, it's a few minutes after 1 and I like to start things on time. So, I'm just going to get started because here's the beauty as the career coach pointed out to me. That is her official handle. She's the career coach. Carla Presley pointed out to me there is power in the replay. So for those of you who aren't joining us immediately live, don't feel too bad about it. You can always go back and catch the replay. So these are going to stay up and live at least until this pandemic is all said and done. And so they'll be available to you. Are we ready? Okay. So first things first. I start off with the basics, right? So part of the reason why we're doing this subject matter, it's something I've taught before. It's something I share all the time. I am pro business plan. So I want you to know that now. My screen is doing something interesting. And I don't know that I can fix it for you all. So it looks like I'm a little skewed to the right with my PowerPoint. And I don't know that I'm going to be able to fix it. So if you really want this PowerPoint presentation, I might be willing to send it to you. Let me know. So for now, I'll tell you what it says, and I'll just keep it moving, which is very interesting to me. I'm doing this in one of the new softwares that I learned since the pandemic has occurred. See, I promise. I don't tell you what I'm not doing myself. I think you should be learning things, and I promise you, I'm learning them as well. Right now, I'm having a slightly technical glitch, but the show will continue. All will be well. Not going to worry about that right now. So, okay, and it's still doing something interesting. Okay, like I said, we're going to move it along. So the first thing is when we talk about why we do a business plan, or basically I'll start off with the what is a business plan. Part of the reason why I was really fascinated with doing this particular subject is because I see a lot of your chatter online and elsewhere and questioning whether or not there's a value in doing a business plan. In 2020, which I love this year, man, just a magnificent year. Is it really worth your time, energy, effort, and thought to bother to sit down and write a business plan? So traditionally, or historically anyway, a business plan was like a 100-page document. It was very detailed. There was a lot of information. And now, if you're doing special business plans, like I had a client who was doing one for Boeing, the airline company, or the airplane company. They were doing one for Boeing. I guess that might have been 6 or 7 years ago that they were working on that one. And so for that one in particular, they were going for, millions of dollars. It was a very high end request and proposal. And so it was a very laborious business plan. That is not the norm anymore. I don't want to read your 40-page business plan. The bank doesn't want to read your 40-page business plan. Your potential partner or employee does not want to read a 40-page, 100-page, because they used to average around 100 pages. Like, really? Like, yeah, it's true. And no one wants to read that. I talk to bankers all the time, and they're like, a lot of times people are giving them fluff or telling the same information over and over and over again. So that's not what a business plan anymore. A business plan is basically you writing up showing that you understand exactly what your company is about, who your competitors are. My favorite question, how you make money. It amazes me how many entrepreneurs have never considered, like, what's the model to make the money? So if you're selling that barbecue sauce and it costs you $12 to make it, you can't sell it for $6. Or you can have a B Corp, or you can be a nonprofit, and still the question has to be, how do you make money? And it's not enough for it to be coming from one grant, one main client, one main source. You have got to diversify. And so that should be in your plan to say, this is how we make money. This is the good that we do. This is the service we provide. This is the product we offer. This is why we exist. These are the people who care that we exist, who want our product. It's not just a hobby. Here's people who are willing to pay for what we're offering. Here's the pain point. Here's the problem. Here's the solution. We're bringing it to the table. And so when you have a business plan, it's for internal and external usage. Although be cautious, when you're giving away your business plan, then that means you're oftentimes giving away your secret sauce. So you want to make sure that whoever you're giving it to needs it. If they don't need it, then they don't need to see it. And it's a great time when you're really trying to crystallize the concept, as my old chemistry teacher would say. It's a great time to start writing it down. Write the vision, make it plain, so that you can really have an understanding of, this is what I want to do. This is why. These are all the pieces and parts that make that important. And for me, one of the reasons why, well, I'll get to the whys. That's the what is a business plan, right? So then the next part of that is the actual, why would you do a business plan, right? So why is a business plan important? And so the first thing that I would say is that a business plan is a living, breathing document. It will keep you honest. In this day and age, I've been having a lot of conversations with people about accountability, about how you're going to say, this is what I'm going to accomplish. Who's keeping you in check to make sure that you're doing that? Your business plan can be one of your accountability partners. I often talk about cash cows. I don't know why I love that phrase. I just do. Cash cow. I think I actually look at the imagery, like the goose with the golden eggs. I think of a cow just like milking out cash. Okay, you didn't want to go into any workings of my mind, but there you are. But the whole thing about the business plan is, so if you find a cash cow, so I am blessed and fortunate to have lots of talents and skills. So I could be doing a ton of different things, but there's a certain business that I'm in. So small business consulting is my heart. So even though I write books, even at that, the heart of it still comes back to my desire to see people succeed. And so everything ties back into that. But let's just say, for example, I start my business doing small business consulting, and then someone wants a website, which is something I used to do. And so they want a website, and so I started doing websites. My website started getting popular. People are paying well for them. And then 10 years down the road, I've become a website developer. And then I'm going, but what happened to my small business consulting? When you have a business plan that outlines what you do and how you do and who you want to be when you grow up, I always say you're supposed to revisit your business plan every 3 months. Sit down with it and remind yourself of who you wanted to be when you grew up, who you wanted your business to look like, to what it was supposed to develop into, what was your passion point. A lot of people wake up going, I can't believe it's 20 years later and I'm over here doing this. Like, how did I get here? When you keep revisiting that living, breathing document of your business plan, you'll always stay on track. And the reason we say a living, breathing document is because in that same scenario, let's say I said I was going to do small business consulting, which I love, but then I start getting into websites and I realize not only is the money good, but I really enjoy it and it's a great expression. I have choices now to update my business plan to include website development, or in my case, what I often do whenever I just need a cash cow is something that brings you good money, like pretty consistently. If I just need a temporary cash cow, because like right now, I'm looking at cash cows because I want to finance my birthday trips, my travel. I want to finance that, so I'm doing cash cows just for that purpose. And so short-term things. And so when I look at my business plan, I can update it to say, hey, now this is a part of my business. Now, what does that model look like? So your business plan helps you figure out the strengths and weaknesses of your business idea. It helps you figure out opportunities, analyze the market, figure out who the potential partners are, figure out your strategies. The biggest question for me is, how are you different than what's already in the marketplace? People often come to me and they're like, oh, I want to start a popsicle stand. Okay, do you know how many other popsicle stands there are in your region, let alone your area, let alone your neighborhood? What do you know about popsicle stands? How much money do they generally make? How much does it cost to buy the stand? How much are the supplies? Those are all the things that you think about and you then in turn put into your business plan, right? And let's say you want partners. Partners want to know that you understand what it is you're talking about. Most of them want to see a business plan. Key employees. If you're trying to lure someone, away from another company, then you want to show them business plan and say, look, you're doing this, but I can make you a partner in this, right? So those are just some of the reasons why the business plan is so vital. It truly is a roadmap. It is a way for you to talk to investors, suppliers, business partners, key job candidates, especially if you're looking for investing or if you're going to go for a loan. The bank is going to ask you for a business plan. And if you don't have one, and especially right now, so this is a great time for you to really be thinking about it. Because now there are all these new pain points. So this pandemic has brought out a lot of pain points for people. And the questions for you is, how can you and your business provide the answers that they need, right? So it's a great time to go back to your business plan and revitalize it because it's a living, breathing document. It can be edited. Okay, so now you're wondering, okay, maybe I'm convinced that I need a business plan. How do I write one? So there are options, right? So SCORE is one of my favorite resources to share. It used to be something of retired executives. Forgive me. They kept the name but changed the acronym. I think they deleted the acronym. But the point is, there are all these individuals. Most of it is free, in conjunction with like the SBA, etc. And they have a lovely template that you can utilize for creating your business plan. You can work with their mentors. I don't want to say anything bad about SCORE. I do love SCORE. If you're my client, I'll talk more. But you're not my client. You're just online sharing with me. Hi there. So all I'll say is, you can log on to the score.org, download the template. You'll fill in your information, sign up for a SCORE rep. You'll get a mentor, and yeah. So overall, great program. Another item that you can do, if one of the biggest complaints people have is that they don't have time to write a business plan. And one of the biggest things for me is that either you business plan or you plan to fail, right? That's actually the name of a class that I have coming up soon. But that's really my philosophy. So like either you're going to take the time to make this happen or you're going to be the next failure. Now, there are lots of businesses out there who are doing just fine and don't have a business plan, but those are the same ones that whenever I come in for a consultation, I see all the flaws, the problems. I see a lot of potential opportunities that they've missed because they've overlooked, like taking the time to do this. If you're really just that busy, there is a lovely thing called the Business Model Canvas. As you can see, got a little copy of it over here in the corner. You don't see my arrows because I don't have it set up for you to see my arrows. But as you can see right there on the right hand side, you can look it up. Most of it's attached to a book that I feel like I loaned out to someone, so it's not in here. Oh, I'm gonna stop looking for it now because who wants to look at me while I'm looking for a book on my bookshelf? And I don't see it anyway. But the Lean Startup. Oh. I'm gonna show that I'm feeling confused. It's either in this one. It's either in this one, even if it's not in this one. It's a good book for you to read. Or there's another one. There's Lean In, Lean Startup, and there's another book. It's in one of them that shows you the whole business model canvas. Either way, you can Google it. You'll find it. You don't need me to tell you. Google the business model canvas, and you can find it. And really, it's really just your business plan on a one sheet. And so even if you haven't gone deep into the information, you can at least answer the basic questions and get started. All right. Otherwise, what I'm going to share with you right now are the outline that I use whenever I'm teaching people how to write a business plan. So that's what I'm going to do right now. I'm going to show you my outline. So here's the thing to note. Whenever you're writing a business plan, there are a lot of sections. They don't all apply to you. If they don't apply to you, skip them. If you are looking for a lender, a partner, and they are looking for specific information that you don't have, they can let you know, and you can always add back in sections. But a lot of times there are sections that I think, depending on your business, are irrelevant or you don't have information for. And for you to include, all you're going to do is be making up information. And who needs to make up information? All right. So like one of the things for me, like we always talk about a SWOT analysis. Contrary to most people, or to a lot of people apparently, I'm not a big SWOT analysis person. Don't really care for them. I don't get like the real benefit of it. Or I should say, most people don't fill it out correctly. And so the information is trash. So for me, I just assume skip it and make sure I'm getting the information the right way someplace else. Okay, so let's go. Let's talk about the parts of a business plan. So the first thing you look at is your industry, right? And so, so this tells you, this is literally straight from the outline I use when I'm teaching this class. And so the first thing is, what industry are you in? Who are the players? What are you selling? What's the product? What's the service? Be able to describe it. Do you have something special about the way that you're doing it? So, like for example, I always talk about the fact that I make a peach lemonade, and so what's different than the fact that you can go to the store right now? I'm looking at Kroger. I'm always and so you can go to the store right now and buy peach lemonade. At least I think you can. What's different about the one that I make versus the one they make? And so I could tell you that I freshly squeeze, believe it or not, peaches and lemons to make this thing. And I do. And so they may or may not be able to say the same. And so there are things that I add in. So like when I'm making cookies, I have an ingredient that I add in from something I get I purchase when I'm in Haiti. And so there are like special things that I do that are different that everyone else doesn't do. So what's that for your business? What's different about you? What's special about you? What are you doing that's not the same as everyone else? And so who are the partners? Who are the players? You're going to want to also include the resumes of each individual and share their skill sets. What part of the company are they going to be providing, right? And so you'll figure out what kind. Are you an LLC, a partnership? Sole proprietor, please don't ever be a sole proprietor. And if you don't know why, please set up a free consultation with me. Sole proprietors give me heart palpitations. Like, really, they do. All right, so this is the heart of it all. This is one of the first things people see is your understanding of the industry that you want to enter. So if all you know about restaurants, and restaurants are one of the hardest industries to be successful in, if all you know is that they serve good food and you serve good food, so you should be able to succeed, you are probably apt to fail. So there's a lot more research and information that you should be doing. There are also organizations. There are specific organizations for specific industries. So if you're into media, there are not just meetup groups and hangouts and all that, but they're actually industry groups that you can join, and they often have the statistics, information, the trends already prepared for you. And so you'd want to join those to get that information so you can put it into your business plan and to your business um, you know, plan for life, etc. Okay. After that, after you've gone through the industry, we talk about the market and the analysis, right? And so this is where you're really drilling down. Are you trying to enter an industry that's overly saturated? Are you trying to enter an industry that there's no one there? And if there's no one there, why isn't anyone else in that field? So like a few years ago, Froyo, or frozen yogurt, was one of the most popular and successful industries out there. Like, if you could find the money, the initial money to get started, everybody made money in Froyo, right? It got so popular that even created if you think of a ATM or a vending machine, they basically made a vending machine for frozen yogurt. You could go up and push what you wanted, and it would actually disperse your frozen yogurt, right? Did you see them? At this point, the industry isn't as popular, but it was really popular. And so lots of people were out there trying to enter it, and the market got so saturated. There were so many people trying to do the same thing that there was really next to no money to be made anymore. Here in Richmond, where I am, it was so bad that there was a Sweet Frog, and next to it, someone else brought up right next door, which I thought was audacious. Sorry. Right next door, they opened another frozen yogurt establishment. And so they both did pretty well for a while, but the other one actually shut down. The Sweet Frog is still there, I believe, last time I checked. But are you interested? What's happening in your industry? Is it predicted to grow, right? Is it predicted that it's going to do well in China but not do well here? You want to know that information. So who are the customers? Like, where are they buying now? What makes them want to buy, right? That's that customer section. The market size and trends are what I was just talking about. And like for Froyo as example, like seasonal fluctuations, people are not buying as much frozen yogurt in the winter as they are in the summer. And so knowing that helps you predict like your cash flow, which I will get to that in the finance section in just a little bit. Competition, I've already mentioned, like who else is out there doing the exact same thing. Then there comes the marketing plan. I love to talk marketing. It's really important to have a really good understanding of like how are you going to make sure that people know who you are and what you do and what you offer. Is it social media? Do you need to be sending out flyers? Do you need to be putting out, flyers on people's cars? Like, where are your people? And that's part of when you really got the target market piece. It helps you know where to target them. Like, where are your potential clients? What are they using? And then that's how you figure out where you're going to spend your marketing dollars. So that's the essence of what happens with your marketing plan itself. Then there's that operating plan. Do you require a brick and mortar? So where is the business going to be? Is it online? Is it in your home? I always have concerns about businesses in your homes, because whenever you're creating an LLC, S corp, C corp, etc., you have to have a physical address, or at least for your LLC in particular here in the state of Virginia, you have to have a physical address. And if it's your home, that means people can show up there, but that has nothing to do with the business plan. It's a separate note that I always like to bring up. What's involved with regard of your location? Are you in an enterprise zone? Are you in a hub zone? What are the benefits to where you're looking to be? Like when they talk about one of the most important things in real estate is location, location, location. It applies a lot in your business as well, depending on what type of business you're doing. Now, if you're doing social media marketing, people might not even ever have to come see you. And so your location is not the predominant issue, but that's what you want to keep in mind. And so where is the location going to be, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Those are all the things you want to consider. And when you're talking about the operating plan itself. And so if you're making a widget, how much space do you need to do that? So those are all the things you want to consider. So the operating plan, continuing here, strategy and plans, like I was saying about if you're making a widget, then how are you going to manage that process? And so even down to, are you using AI? Are you using a A production line. How do you manage inventory? Do you know what LIFO and FIFO is? All right. And so, how do you make sure that what you're producing is the same quality for every single item that you're creating? What's the skill sets necessary for potential employees, right? So we've been having lots of conversations with the Greater Richmond Partnership and discussing, like, even when people want to come to Virginia to do business, like, they're looking to see, are there people here that they can hire? Do the people in that area where they want to come to have the skill sets that are necessary to do the job? So for your labor force, are there special skills that they have to have? Are you in an area where those skills are provided, or do you need to be looking at a different location? What are the tasks that everyone will have, and what does that look like? So those are all questions that you have to be considering. And then your business plan is one of the things that's making you sit down and take the time to figure that out. All right, so now we get back to the management team, which is very important, especially when you're starting a business. Oftentimes, your key people are your management, and that's all you have. So it's very helpful. Like in my case, when we started the Women's Business Center, I can say, okay, yes, I do small business consulting. Yes, I do coaching. I do graphic design. I can design our logo. I can put our website up. I've done social media management. I can start our social media packages happening, which we now have passed on to Socialita. Thank you very much. I can do a bunch of things. So when you're first getting started, then that team becomes really vital. Like, what are they bringing to the table? So once again, here for the Women's Business Center, my partner is Taiwan Lee. So for Ty is real estate. She's got that broker end. She's got that property management company. And so she knows how to take care of tenants and tenant relationships and dealing with, from that landlord perspective, taking care of any repairs that need to be done. In our case, she also has a background in interior design. So she's the one who makes this place look pretty. So the next time you come in and think it looks gorgeous, you can let Ty know. That's her gig. But that's all the kind of stuff you're putting into your business plan. And one, even by mentioning it, shows that you've thought about all these issues. You've already addressed it. And so you already know, here are the pieces that we need. Here are the people that we already have in place to oversee or do those things until we get to the point of having the budget to hire someone else to do it. So yes, all of that's in your business plan. Business plans are not written overnight, but they are really great for you, because the more research you do to answer the questions, the more answers that you have, not just for yourself, but for anyone else that you're dealing with. And so then we come to what is truly the most important part to me, and that's the money. Because most businesses go out of business over money. Most divorces are due to money. Most of your real problems are money related. And so how can you solve that? First things first, I'd say, don't just walk in and quit your job tomorrow. I mean, I understand that the life that I live as an entrepreneur looks very sexy, but I want you to live it and be sane, right? And so make sure you have the funds necessary to start the business, to run the business. I prefer that you think of your business in 3-year terms, right? So at minimum, when you get started, I'd like for you to have 6 months of income set aside to say, if I don't get one client in the first 6 months, which is very sad but possible, I have money to operate. Really, a year is amazing. That's pretty good. But if you can really figure out how you're going to make money for 3 years, you're going to be one of the ones who truly does make it. Now, if you have a poor business idea and it's not going to make money, then saving money just means that you're just going to spend through it. So it's really important that when you create this business plan, you have someone read it who can say, I see your vision. I understand how you're trying to make money. That makes perfect sense. I'm in, or I see this and I'd love to be a client, or something. You should make sure that you can actually make money. We talked about that earlier in the business plan piece, but just highlighting it again. Alrighty, so back to the financial plan. So you can have a P&L, a profit and loss statement. There are lots of reports that you can run, right? If you're like I am, or like most people, you can input all kinds of information into QuickBooks or whatever you're using, and it can give you all kinds of reports. When you're running a business, some of that is irrelevant. It just is. It's not important information. So for me, when I am consulting with someone, I always talk about your cash flow projection. Your cash flow projection is talking about money in hand. Your profit and loss statement talks about money that you're promised. So, for those of you who are small business owners and you have a contract with the state and you didn't use their P card, so they're not paying you with a credit card, they're paying you by invoicing, or you're dealing with a large Fortune 500 who has a tendency of holding on to their money and paying it when they see fit because they make more money in interest and in other money tools or money efforts, money streams, than what they're concerned with the penalties that they have to pay to you. So oftentimes there's someone holding your money. You have an invoice, it's from the state, it's from, I'm not going to name names, some Fortune 500 that you know will pay, but will they pay you 30 days, 60 days, 90 days, 6 months? Right? Some of you are doing business with the state, and you know if you make a mistake, it could be 6 months before you get payment. Well, that 6 months, you still have light bill, you have your utility bills, you have employees, you have to pay for your phones, you have to pay for your equipment, you have to pay for your location. You still have to pay for stuff while you're waiting for money to come in. So that's one of the reasons why it's great to save money, to have some money on deck. But also, when you have a cash flow projection, your P&L, so let's say you have an invoice for $10,000 outstanding. Your P&L will show that $10,000 as if you have it on hand. And so when you're calculating, it'll show you, oh, you're positive $3,000 this month. Wow, that's amazing. Your cash flow says that $10,000 doesn't exist unless you have it in hand, right? And so therefore, you are now $3,000 in the negative. And so then when you can see that as a projection, as a prediction, then you know, hey, I need to make sure that for month 3, I'm preparing for a potential $3,000 loss. How will I make that money? Am I going to do a cash cow operation? Am I going to get a loan? Am I going to go ahead and get a line of credit right now so that I'll have that money in store for when that need comes? What am I going to do? So that's part of the beautiful thing about doing the business plan, and in particular getting to the finance of it all. A lot of times people are failing not because they weren't running their business right, but because they weren't making the predictions. Like they weren't taking the time to sit down and figure out things like this. And when you do a business plan, it makes you do things just like this. And you need it. You, right there, you need it. Okay, so believe it or not, we are almost at the end. We are essentially at the end. Woohoo! So, when you open a business plan, the first thing you see is the executive summary. So, pray tell, why is it the last thing that I show to you? It's a summary. So, by definition, you need to know all the other information that you had in your business plan before you can write the summary. You need the information first so you can bring it together and summarize it. So that you actually you see it first, but you write it last. And so sometimes, depending on who you're showing it to, some people will only read your executive summary. If you're going to a banker, everyone reads your summary normally. Like almost everyone. It's like their cheat sheet on what's in the document. So almost everyone reads the summary. But then if I'm your banker, I'm going to the financing section. I might go to your resource section because your management team is your resource. And there's like a financial equivalent to having someone who has all these skill sets on board with you. Right, or your partners. So if I know you're partnered with, like if you're in Richmond, Virginia, where I am, and you're partnered with a UCrops or a Martin, if you're partnered with certain people, I already know that you are viable and that you're credible, and so that actually has like financial equivalents, and so that's part of the reason why that key management team or consultant is really important. So, but if I am a potential partner or I'm a potential employee, I might want to see what your predictions are for the industry for the future. So just depending on who you're speaking to, there might be different sections of your business plan that someone wants to hone in on. But either way, you're going to make sure that you're going to take this information here and write such a beautiful business plan that whatever section they turn to, or if they're like I am and they suffer to read through it all, that the information will all be concise, legitimate, well-researched, well-provided information. Okay, so at this point, I would normally say, do you have any questions? So while I am broadcasting this on multiple pages, I am only looking at the Women's Business Center um, Facebook page right now. So if you have a question, then that's the only place I'll see it. I will check the other pages later and be sure to respond, or feel free to send me an email, Shirley at WBCRVA.com. Now, if you've heard all this information and it's made your head hurt, and you're like, I think I got it, but I need more, I am actually providing a webinar April 29th. There's a fee, but it's literally like a fifth of what I normally charge for it. But it's because we're in the midst of this pandemic that I'm just like, we're really trying to bring you as much as we can to help you out as much as possible. So we're not charging the regular rates for stuff. So like we've been giving away a free seminar every Thursday, but also if you'd like more in depth, we're going to do a webinar on April 29th. It'll last 3 or 4 hours, and we'll really get in to the sections of the business plan, and then we'll do a follow-up session to get more into what you have written so far and talk more about that. So you can go to Eventbrite and register for that. I'm not sure that I've put it up anyplace else. I need to. So I'll be a good girl, and I'll make sure to put that onto our Facebook page, potentially onto the website at some point in time. But if you're looking to reach out to us, here is our information. So the website is WBCRVA.com. There's my email address, Shirley at WBCRVA. The center is on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram as the handle WBCRVA. And if you're looking for me, I'm on Facebook at Shirley E. Crawford. And then I'm on Twitter as Shirley E. Crawford with a 4. And Instagram, I didn't include it, so I won't include it. Shirley E. Crawford. There you go. All right, so I'm not seeing any additional questions right now, not on the Facebook, the Women's Business Center Facebook. If you have any that you come up with, feel free to email me. Like I said, if you want to register for the webinar, you can go to Eventbrite and look for business plan or plan to fail, and you can find that information there. Once again, it is sincerely my pleasure to be able to bring you all resources, tools, information, because that's what we're really about here at the center. And so I don't know if I mentioned much about the center. I'll take a second and do that while I make sure that there aren't any more questions before I continue. The Women's Business Center was specifically created with the point of being a point of resources, information, education, and a 360 approach to women entrepreneurs. So oftentimes, for our members in particular, we do a seminar every month, and it can be anything from extreme couponing to leadership to negotiation skills, finding your voice, different technical skills, etc. We also, of course, provide office-based co-working. Consultations are included with our members. There's meeting space. It's just a great environment to be supported as a woman, where people don't question you or think that your passion is a weakness. And so it's just an amazing place, and I'm really, really, really sincerely proud of it. And these seminars that we're doing each Thursday are just an extension of our normal heartbeat here. And that is that we care, and we want you to succeed, and we want you to do well, and we want to give you whatever we can to make sure that happens. Okay, so at this present, I'm signing off. Shirley Crawford here at the Women's Business Center, RVA, located at 1510 Willow Drive, directly across the street from the Kroger at Willow. We're currently not really open, but you can always reach us by email. Once again, Shirley at WBCRVA.com. Go to our website, WBCRVA.com. Go for any of our social media handles at WBCRVA, or you can check me out at any time. All right, people. Stay sane, stay safe, stay sound, and until next time, bye-bye.